Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Spring Fling 2021 evening Ceilidh. Hopefully, many of you attended some of the earlier sessions that we had during the day. Hopefully, many of you downloaded the step dance classes that we uploaded this morning, and hopefully, some of you joined in with the Ceilidh dance devising sessions that we had most recently, as well as the social chats. So we all know that this should have been hosted in Aberdeen physically, but obviously, as you know, it's virtual. So we've done our best to give you a flavour of Aberdeen with the photos and the slideshow that were running earlier, and we're going to continue trying to give you that sense of being in Aberdeen and dancing in Aberdeen tonight. And the way we're going to do that is we're running something a bit like our own version of BBC Radio Scotland's Take the Floor, or something like that. If you don't know that programme and you enjoy dance music, I very much suggest you look it up. Apparently there are listeners from all over the world. So what we've got lined up for you tonight are 4 local musicians, and they'll be playing different sets for you, and different dances for you. The dances will be called by Spring Fling committee and teachers, or me, who's just an interloper musician and host and MC. I don't actually teach. Dances are, obviously the dances we're calling are just suggestions for you. You can do whatever you like, nobody's watching. Or you could even just sit and watch and listen and enjoy the music, which I'm really looking forward to. So the first musicians we're showcasing for you tonight are Susan and Scott Gordon. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Susan plays fiddle and Scott plays accordion, and appropriately for Mr. and Mrs. Gordon, they're going to kick us off with the Gay Gordons as our first dance. Hopefully you'll have done the Gay Gordons before. I can see you smiling, you've probably heard that joke before. The dance goes as follows. Normally I would get up and demonstrate it, but I can't really because I'm sitting down and well, anyway, you're going to be in Gay Gordon's hold, which is very much like Allemande hold that Angela was teaching you earlier. You go forward for 3 steps, and on the 4th step you flip round, so you're, well, my back would be to you. You then take 4 steps backwards, come forward again, flip again, and take 4 steps backwards. So you should be back where you started. Drop your left hand, lift your right hand, and the lady twirls under twice. And since we're Scottish country dancers, we all do 4 bars of Pas de Basque. And then finish in ballroom hold and dance 4 bars of a polka. Angela, if you could play the music, and we'll get Susan and Scott to tell us what the tunes were afterwards. So let's get our first dance. Let's get up and dancing for the Gay Gordons. Now, every Scottish dance musician that's worth their salt has to have a Gay Gordon set. And obviously, you need a Gay Gordon set that you like to play. So, do you want to tell me a bit about why you chose those tunes for the Gay Gordons and how you put that set together?
The only real reason was that it's probably one of the first sets that we would have, well, the longest sets we've played together, if that makes any sense. So we've probably played it together for about 25 years or thereabouts. The first tune was an Ian Powrie tune called Ian Powrie's Compliments to Sir Thomas Warble. And then the second one, as was the graphics on the screen, was Walter Douglas MD. So that's kind of two of my favourite 4/4 marches.
And have you been playing? You said you've been playing together for 25 years. Did you meet through playing music?
Yeah, we met at the National Association of Accordion and Fiddle Clubs Festival in 1996 in Musselburgh near Edinburgh, and finally got together at the Shetland Accordion and Fiddle Club Festival in the October of '96. So it's been a while.
Yeah, the accordion and fiddle club scene is really big in Scotland, and it's not one that I've been very involved with. But for all lovers of Scottish dance music, I think it's probably something we should explore more. So your next set is the Britannia two-step. Do you want to tell me what tunes you chose for the Britannia two-step?
Sure. We've got 2/6/8 marches, pipe marches. The first one's called Balachile. And then the second one is a tune composed by Marie Fielding, which is called Contour House.
I'm sure I've heard the name Marie Fielding before. She's quite a well-known composer of music, is she?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Marie's composed hundreds of good tunes, and she's a fiddle player.
Yeah, right. Well, for those of you who want to join in the dancing, the Britannia two-step is quite straightforward. You'll be glad to know, like many Ceilidh dances actually. And I'll do my best. Oh, I will stand up and I'll call it for you. So you're going to identify. Well, you're in lines of 3. You're going around a circle, which most of you are probably not. You're going to identify the foot that's closest to the middle of the circle, which I'll pretend today is my left foot. You're going to go heel, toe, slip in 2, 3, and then with your other foot, heel, toe, slip out 2, 3. You're going to go forward for 2 and back for 2. You're then going to bounce, kick without kicking your laptop over. Lift your hands and the ends turn under. Then you're going to go forwards for 2, back for, and then, well, this is where the middles and the ends part company, and you move on for 2 to a different set. So briefly, forwards for 2, and no, heel, toe, into 3, heel, toe, out to 3, forwards for 2, back for 2, bounce, kick, turn the ends under, forward for 2, and back for 2. Let's have some music, Angela. Thank you very much, Susan and Scott. I really like the way the rhythm comes through in your playing, both on the fiddle and the accordion. It's really nice to get that, and also to see you working so well together. It's really nice to see that, and partnerships like that in music are really nice, both to dance to and to listen to. So. I don't know. I wondered if you could tell us a bit more about how you got into Scottish dance music in the first place, or Scottish music in the first place. I don't know, Susan. You can go first, and then Scott.
Well, personally, I did classical music at school initially for lessons, but then went to a Scottish fiddle teacher for a while. Then I got involved in the accordion and fiddle club scene pretty much. And that kind of got me going with Scottish dance bands. That's where Graham Mitchell spotted me playing, and I ended up playing with his dance band after that, and that kind of got me going with the whole thing. What about yourself?
My parents are both in the music business, so they're both singers, and sang a lot of Scottish music, and I suppose that would have spurred my interest. And then again, going to accordion fiddle clubs and meeting other musicians, meeting Ian Muir from Prestwick, who I started playing with when I was 16, and still do to this day. And that was probably one of the first things that got me involved in the music scene and competitions and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting how a lot of people are start off with that classical foundation, or many people, and they find it very useful to then have that foundation to fall back on, and then as they learn the Scottish music, that stands them in really good stead. I've got a question for you, since you're from the fiddle and accordion club scene. Is that like a competitive scene? Is that going around to competitions and stuff? What is an accordion and fiddle club? I've never been, so how would you explain it to someone?
Yeah, it's not competitive at all. It's basically they all have the same format around the country. You have two halves. The first half you have local players either playing solo or playing together, of any standard that want to play, and then you have a guest artist booked for every month, who will do a spot in each half. And then the same thing happens in the second half. You have local players again, and then a guest artist. So it's not competitive in any way. But
it's a great way to encourage the younger players to come along and play in front of an audience and play live, and it gets them to see the guest artist and see where they want to be when they're older.
But is it restricted to accordions and fiddles? Is that the...
Well, it's meant to be, but there is a when we have a mouth organ player at our club in Aberdeen, and there's whistle players, and so we're not discriminative.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I'm a whistle player myself. So, I might go along to a club one day. Now, what we've done, we've asked all the musicians tonight to prepare us a musician's choice. And that we've given them completely free rein to showcase themselves and their music. So, do you want to introduce your musician's choice set, please?
Okay, yeah, we've gone for this one's fiddle led this time, and it's a set I've been playing for a long time. Really, a set I really enjoy playing, a set of hornpipes, and the first tune is one that I learned from the Fiddler's 5 CD a long time ago, and it's called The Poppy Leaf. Then it's followed by one I took from the playing of Natalie McMaster, called Compliments to Sean Maguire, and that's by Brendan Mulvihill. And then finishing off with an Aberdeenshire composer, Scott Skinner, and that's called Arthur's Steed.
Right, very much looking forward to hearing this. Angela, let's hear them play their musician's choice. What a fantastic set! I really enjoyed that. Yeah, the rhythm that you guys have is really really great, and I love rhythmic playing. Well, that takes us unfortunately to the end of your session tonight. So thank you very much for coming along. And
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
and hopefully one day we might get you up playing for the branch dances. It would be really nice to dance to you. So without further ado, in order to keep the evening moving on and to let everyone hear other musicians, I'm going to hand over to Angela to move us along tonight. So thank you.
So I'll just say a huge thanks to Josh for taking us through the first part of tonight, and also to Scott and Susan for joining us. That was just great. Lovely to hear you both playing. And I've known Scott and Susan for a long time, and my dad knew Susan for a very long time as well, as he would say. So you'd have enjoyed your tunes tonight. So thanks very much to both of you. Great. So, okay, thanks very much. So we're going to move on, and we're going to be, we've got some videos from another musician, and we've got another host to share as well with you. So I'm going to introduce you to our MC for the next bit, who's going to take you through the next couple of dances. And the videos of the music this time are from Callum Cruikshank, who's a young musician who lives up in Lunfannon. But we'll hear more about Callum later, and I'll ask Georgina just to share her camera as well and her sound, and we'll hear the next dance from Georgina. Yes, thanks, hello. Georgina.
Hello everyone. So the next dance is a lovely dance. It's the circle waltz. It's nice and easy for us all. Traditionally it would be done as a big circle in couples all the way around the room, but you can do it by yourself or with a partner in your kitchen. So to start with, all you do is you have your lady on the man's right side, and the first 4 bars are just a balance away and a balance back. And the lady swings in front of the man to finish on the man's opposite side. You repeat this 3 more times, so you end up back where you started with the lady on the man's right. You then take up waltz hold, and you do 2 steps away. You drop your hands and you turn around individually to come back into waltz hold to do 2 more steps back where you came from. Drop your hands again and turn around to face each other. And then you have a lovely 8 bars just to waltz around whatever space you're in. All right, so nice and easy, and it's a lovely piece of music as well. So Angela, if we could have Callum's music.
So just now we had some lovely tunes from Callum, and I'm hoping that you were all singing along at home. You should have heard the tunes were, as it said on the screen, The Dancing in Kyle, Westering Home, and I can't help but sing that song because I think I heard it so often when I was a wee girl, and then Lovely Stornoway, and I hope you were singing along at home as well. And that was a well-known song sung by Callum Kennedy. It was one of his staples, but he also wrote it, which I'm not sure many people knew that he was a prolific songwriter as well. So I'm just going to hand over to Georgina, who's going to take you through what the next dance is.
So next dance we have is the Flying Scotsman, which is obviously one of the most kind of popular Ceilidh dances. It's certainly one of the ones that I learned first. Personally, thought it was much better than the Gay Gordons when I was 7 or 8, because you didn't have to touch any of those icky boy things. Obviously, it's usually done in a set of kind of 4 couples. You probably have to do a little bit of adapting, but I'll read it out to remind you how it goes, and then you maybe just have to figure it out depending on how much space and how many people you've got there. Okay, so it starts obviously in your 4 couple set. There's a 3 couple dance. First lady followed by second and third lady across the top of the set, casting behind first man and weave in between second and third man, just across the bottom of the set and dancing back up to their places. The next 8 bars, the men do the same. So first man followed by second and third man, cross top of the set behind first lady and weave in between to cross the bottom of the set back up into places. First couple obviously come together for the next 8 bars to hold hands, slip all the way to the bottom, as much space as you have, always the most fun bit. Come all the way back up to finish in second place, as well as hopefully ones will move out the way. The 2s, 1s and 3s then all join hands to slip all the way back to the bottom and back up again, so then to repeat the dance with the 1s from their new place. All right. Otherwise, if you can't fit all that in, you can just pretend to be a train for the whole dance. Wouldn't judge you. And can we then have the music, Angela, please?
So huge thanks to Callum for his music just now, and for taking us through the waltzes and the Flying Scotsman. Sorry, there's a wee Zoom glitch there just now, I believe, in the Flying Scotsman. So we'll put the video up on the website so that you can enjoy that set of tunes. And thanks to Georgina for taking us through the dances. Just a wee bit about Callum, for those of you that don't know him. He is 24, he'll be 25 this year, and he's from Lumfannon. He's a really talented young musician, and he plays the accordion and the piano. And in October 2019, he was a finalist in the Senior Scottish Accordion Championships for the 4th time. Callum's also the chairman of the Bankery Accordion and Fiddle Club, and he plays piano with Aberdeen's Shaspere and Reel Society, as well as giving accordion lessons. And his own Scottish dance band have been guests at the Shetland Accordion and Fiddle Festival. And I say his own dance band, and that's because he's got a really musical family. His wee sister, Iona, plays the fiddle, and his dad, Brian, is a bass player who you'll have heard on quite a lot of our Scottish country dance band recordings. But Brian also plays the fiddle. And then Callum's mum, Jennifer, plays the accordion, has her own dance band, but you might know her better as the producer of Take the Floor and Travelling Folk for BBC Scotland. And as a family, they go out and perform together, and the Cruikshank Band won the Dance Band of the Year at the Scots Trad Awards in 2019. For his day job, Callum's the regional director of a Scottish-based commercial cleaning and facilities company, but he really does do a great amount of Scottish music work as well. Those tunes that you heard for the Flying Scotsman included Aiken Drum. Some of you might know that as the original tune for Galloway House. The Rakes and Mallow, which is a traditional Irish reel, and the Reel of Tullagorm. And the last tune was The Hopeful Lover. We've now got a couple of 6/8 which Callum has chosen as his musician's choice. The two tunes are the Teenside Cottage, which is a popular batch played by Scottish dance bands. Teenside is a farm near Hoyk. And the second tune that Callum's going to play for us is The Campbells Are Coming, and he is playing a pipe arrangement of the song that you might know. So without any further ado, I will share Callum's musician's choice. A huge thanks to Callum for recording those tracks for us. I'm looking on the chat and I can see some great comments about Callum's playing, really lovely accordion playing. And Anna Bergamy is saying, it's both great and sad to hear this wonderful music. Great because her Saturday night is just better, but sad because she has no idea when she'll be able to dance with other people again. But hopefully you're enjoying dancing at home just now. So a huge thanks to Georgina and to Callum for recording those tracks. And I'm delighted that our next host is back with us. There's been a wee internet failure in Bankery where our next MC is, but I believe that she's back with us and I'm going to be able to hand over, thankfully, to her. Because that I wouldn't have enjoyed that, Claire. So I'm going to hand you over to Claire Greek, who's in Bankery. And it looks like, Claire, that you're in working order again.
Well, if that was a panic, I don't know what it was. I had to phone my next door neighbour and she said they're down as well. So we had all the phones going, we had the tablets going, nothing was working. So we're back again now, thankfully.
Well, thanks.
No panic.
Thanks, Claire, and I'm really glad to see you back. So I will hand over to you to take us through part 3 of our Ceilidh.
Good. Well, hello everyone. My name's Claire Gritsuk, and I very much hope you're enjoying our virtual Spring Fling. I really hope this is the last virtual one we have to have, and then we can dance in person, because I know we're all missing it hugely. Tonight, I'm absolutely delighted to introduce the next musician, George Davidson, who hails from the northeast of Scotland, our very own George, and he's one of our finest fiddle players. He's absolutely amazing. And because some of you might not know George, before the event, I asked him to send me some details about himself. So I'm going to let you in on a few secrets. I hope that's all right with you, George.
Well, fire away. I'm sure it'll be fine.
So George started playing the fiddle at the age of 9, the tender young age of 9. And one of his greatest influences has been Paul Anderson, who is, some of you may know, is a renowned fiddle player in the northeast of Scotland. And George attributes his success and his style to Paul, in fact. Is that right, George?
I would say mostly, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Actually, after that, you went on to have huge successes in the competition field, both at junior level and at senior level. And actually, George, that culminated in you winning the Glenfiddich Trophy, the last one that was held in 2015. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing for somebody so at your tender young age.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So George has played in multiple Ceilidh bands touring Scotland. He's played for Burn Suppers. He's played for dancers. He's played as a soloist. He's played duetting with Stuart, your brother, who's also a fiddle player.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard the two of you play on a number of occasions, and the sound is absolutely wonderful.
Well, thank you very much.
But I think you have said that really you owe your greatest achievement, well, not greatest achievement, but really the people that you have to thank the most for this are your grandparents.
Yeah, would not be nearly, anywhere near as confident as I am in front of people with my music if it wasn't for my grandparents. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think you've said that they've encouraged, supported, nurtured you, and given you the confidence to play competitions and to go on the stage.
Yeah, very grateful for having musical grandparents. Absolutely.
Yeah. So now you teach the fiddle, George.
I do, yes. Do a wee bit.
Yeah, but says really it's just a hobby because you've got the bills to pay, you've got the mortgage to pay, and you work as an electrician full time.
Yes, I'm an electrician by day and play the fiddle at the weekends.
So a spark's going to fly tonight, George.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully.
I'm sure they will. Anyway, before we hear your lovely music, I'm just going to call the next dance, which is the Boston two-step. All my notes are in huge disarray because of the panic that we had earlier, but hey ho, that's just how things go. So the Boston two-step, one of the old Ceilidh favourites, a lovely dance, an easy dance, around the room dance for couples. So couples holding nearer hands, and if you haven't got a partner, if you just grab a teddy or grab a cushion or grab whoever you can. So holding nearer hands, you step away from one another and then you step together and you walk forward for 4 steps and then you turn to face the way you've just come and then you step away and you step together and you walk forward 4 steps. And then you give hands to your partner and you balance in line, lady on the right foot, gent on the left foot, and then 2 slow side steps down the dance, and then take ballroom hold and waltz 2 or 3 times, or however many you can fit it in. So just to recap quickly, around the room dance, hold nearer hands, step away, step together, walk up 4, turn, step away, step together, walk back, take 2 hands with your partner, paddy basque, and take ballroom hold, and away we go. So over to you, George, and if you want to say anything about the music you're going to play, I'll leave it to you.
Playing a couple of jigs that I play with the Ceilidh band that I play with. The first one's the Dancing Dustman, and the second one's the Lemonville jig. 2 lovely jigs that I learned from the book of tunes I got from the Ceilidh band I play with. So I'll do a little intro for those who are dancing, and then we'll get going.
That was great, George. I really enjoyed that. That goes right to your soul, that fiddle music. It's
Thank you.
just
Thank you.
wonderful. It really, really is.
Thank you very much.
So we're on to the next part, and it's your choice, your musician's choice.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even attempt to discuss this because you're the expert, definitely got me. So I'm going to hand it all over to you.
Cool. Okay, so my choice, I thought I would choose some of my own tunes that I've written. So coming from quite a heavy competition background, I thought I would do a bog standard March to Spey and Reel. March to Spey and Reel is quite a popular classic competitions. So the tunes that I've written, the first one's called Pipe Major George Mitchell. George Mitchell is my granddad. He wasn't really much of a piper. He learned the pipes. He wasn't particularly great, so I actually was going to call it Pipe Minor George Mitchell, but I thought he wouldn't really appreciate that, so I called it Pipe Major George Mitchell. Mr. Spey is called Robert Davidson of Tillyhilt. Robert Davidson's my dad, and Tillyhilt is the family house that they live in, out in Tarvis, outside Tarvis. So I wrote this tune for Father's Day last year, I think. And then the reel is just a reel that I couldn't really think of anything to call it, so I called it the Tarvis Rant. The Tarvis Rant is a day-long festival held in Tarvis, just traditional music and song, much like the accordion and fiddle clubs really. But yeah, so Pipe Major George Mitchell, Robert Davidson of Tillyhilt, and the Tarvis Rant.
George, that was amazing. Really,
thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. Lovely. I
Thank
love
you very
that
much.
Tarvis rant. I can just imagine you're going a bit crazy over there. When,
Tarvis is a great place.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
Well, the Tarvis rant in particular, the festival is held. It's just on a Saturday, I think. We usually have a session in the afternoon in the pub. There's a singing workshop, a traditional singing workshop held in the Heritage Centre in Tarvis. And then there's an evening concert. We usually get a guest. We've had Paul Anderson, and we've had a few folk from down south. I think me and my brother have actually guested at it before. Not that we're guests because we're from Tarvis, but you know what I mean. And then after that, there's usually a short sort of hour and a half long ceilidh at the end. So it's a really good day out the Tarvis rant. So yeah, I just thought that was perfect, that tune for the Tarvis rant.
Yeah, and I think the beer went well with it, didn't it?
Uh-huh.
I really like the other one you did for your dad, Robert Davidson of Tilly Hill. I thought that it certainly brought out the tone in the violin, in the fiddle. It's just
yeah,
gorgeous.
I mean that kind of suited my dad. My dad's very I think I would not have made any competition ever if it wasn't for my dad driving me there. He drove me to every single competition I've ever been to, and you know he just loves, you know, really good goings for space, and I just thought that was perfect for him. But I was actually quite happy with how that tune came out. I thought it really does bring out the boldness of not only the fiddle but the style in general, and that just really fitted, you know, for my dad. So he was quite happy with it. He said it was nae bad, and that's a compliment from my dad. So
is that a compliment from
yes,
your father?
that's the highest of compliments from my dad. So
no, it's absolutely beautiful, that one.
Thank you.
Really, really lovely. So we're now on to our final dance, and it's a good old favourite, the Circassian Circle. I have to say, I remember the Aberdeen away weekend, and where we all tried to do this, but it was on a Sunday morning. I think William Williamson was teaching us, and he was in total despair because for some reason, none of us seemed to get it. I don't know why, and it's such a simple dance. But anyway, easy enough. All form a circle around the room with partners on the man's right. So all dance in for 4 steps and out again. Repeat in for 4 steps and out again. Then the ladies dance in 4 steps and clap or kick your legs or huke or do whatever you want to do. And then the men do the same, but as they come out, they turn to face their partners as they dance out. Then all step to your partner, and then all swing or burl for however long many burls you can get into it. And I know some of our dancers are excellent burlers. And then you end facing anti-clockwise around the room and you promenade. So a really lovely, easy dance. So circle, in, out, ladies in, men in, set to partners or burl, and then promenade around the room. So take your partners or anybody that's around and let's go for it. And George, I don't know what you're going to play. What's going on now?
Well, I've got a set of reels, very well-known reels, The Soldier's Joy, The Flowers of Edinburgh, The Drunken Piper, and Mrs. MacLeod. So I'll do a wee intro for those who are dancing.
Go for it. That was great, George. Loved it.
Thank you very much.
Really enjoyed it.
I hope everybody enjoyed dancing to them.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Really got the feet tapping. And say, hey, thanks so much for taking part in our event.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. This is the first sort of thing I've done like this, so it's been a great experience for me.
Yeah. Well, here's to many more.
Yes, definitely.
It's just been great. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. So I'm going to hand over to Gary now, who's our last but not least, Gary. So we're going to hand over to you for the final, but thanks again, George. Brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
Thanks, Claire. Fantastic stuff. And thanks, George. The beer I'm drinking, actually, tonight was bought in Tarbis, funnily enough. So lots of Tarbis connections tonight.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Claire. We're on to our final section of tonight's Ceilidh, and I'm delighted to be able to introduce a mainstay of the Aberdeen Scottish country dance scene, the one and the only Mr. Frank Thompson. Frank's been playing for Scottish country dancing since around the early 90s, and when I started dancing not long after that, there were two bands in the northeast that we had as kind of mainstay bands. First one was Drum and Cook, and his band from Forres, kind of up near Inverness, and the other was Frank. And we had great fun at all the rallies throughout the northeast with Frank playing. You always knew you would get great tunes to dance to with Frank, and you'll get great tunes tonight as well. Absolutely sure of that. So the first dance that Frank is going to play for is the Canadian Barn Dance, and he's got two tunes. The first one is Flet from Flotta, and it's a march written by Donald MacLeod during the Second World War, which was about his friend William, or also known as Jock Flet, a piper in the Seaforth Highlanders, and Flotta is in the Orkney Islands. And the second tune that Frank has picked, I think just for me, was because it's a Gaelic tune, and I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce it. But I found the translation, and it's John McEwen's Barn. So there you go, Frank. And it's by Phil Cunningham. The tune's by Phil Cunningham. So the Canadian Barn Dance begins with men with your partners on your right, and you're facing anti-clockwise round the room. Men starting with your left, ladies with your right, and you're going forward 2, 3, hop, back 2, 3, hop, out to the sides, clap, come back in to waltz hold with your partner. You're going to the side for 2, back for 2, then polka round, step hop, step hop, step hop, step hop, ready to start again. The Canadian Barn Dance, Flet from Flotta, and John McEwen's Barn in Gaelic. Over to you, Frank. Sorry, Frank, I think you're muted. We can't hear you, Frank. There's no sound coming from you, I'm afraid. Sorry.
So Gary, it's your turn to fill.
This is where I diddle, is it?
Or a Scotland the what turn?
Scotland the what turn? We do a Scotland the what turn, okay. I can manage that. Anne Taylor saying you'll have to sing, Gary. Now, I kind of sing at the best of times, and with a cold, it's probably best not to. Certainly do a Scotland the what turn if we're still waiting for Frank.
As soon as he signs in, I'll make sure they'll let you know, Gary. Keeping an eye out for Frank. This is the joys of. Here's George, which is.
You want a tune? I'll give you a tune if you want. Like,
if you could give us a tune, George, that would be fantastic. Thanks. You're a star.
Oh, on the spot, right. This is what being a musician's all about, isn't it? Put it on the spot, right? Play another set. Good Google set of jigs. Just have a wee biddle to yourself at home if you want to this set of jigs. Right.
We're still waiting.
Still waiting. Well, the tunes there were the Jig of Slurs. Very well-known jig. If you play the fiddle, you don't know that jig, then there's something wrong. The Stool of Repentance and the Kesh jig. That's a set of tunes. My grandparents, which I spoke about briefly, they have their own Ceilidh band, although I don't think they do that many Ceilidhs now. But they have their own Ceilidh band that used to have David Anderson, who was Paul Anderson's brother. So David used to play with my grandparents in their Ceilidh band. And then David, I think he was rather busy, so he was getting less and less available. So when I was sort of getting to the point where I was comfortable playing those sort of tunes, I came along and played along with David a few times. And the Jig of Slurs, Stool of Repentance and Kesh was one of the very first sets of tunes I ever played for Ceilidh dancing. So it's got a bit of sentimental value, that set. It's a great set of tunes to play. So if you were dancing along, great. And even if you have instruments at home, if you're playing along, fantastic.
And George, through that, I have a funny feeling that you could have heard me saying that I was still trying to sort Frank out. So apologies for that to everybody.
Not a problem. Do you want me to play something else, or?
Well, if you were all right to play another set, and then I think Gary will be ready to do something, and we're just we might have Frank back. Let's just see if we can get sound. I have a feeling he hasn't got sound, so bear with us a second until we see if we can sort this out for Frank.
No problem.
Yeah.
I saw in the comment section Jim Stott. He was my primary school teacher for 2 years, primary 6, primary 7. He introduced me to Scottish country dancing. I actually did a little bit of Scottish country dancing with Jim when I was primary 6, primary 7, so I'd be 10, 11 years old. But he was always very, very supportive of my fiddle playing right from a young age. So nice to, well, I can't see you, but nice to hear from you, Jim.
Gary, I'll leave you talking to George, and I'll try and sort Frank in the background, okay?
Okay, no problem. So, George, do you play much at the moment? Are you based up here? Well,
I'm based up here. It's a brilliant question, by the way. I honestly, up until the past sort of 2 weeks, don't think I've touched the fiddle more than about 5 times since the lockdown started. Not that I hate playing the fiddle. Of course, I love playing the fiddle. I've just been I've been working right through, so it's kind of all I think about is what I'm doing at work the next day. So it's like just having nothing to work towards has been quite brutal on especially me. I'm in the middle of a transition between going from my teens where I was playing all the time to early 20s where adult life sort of takes over, and you find less and less time to play, and probably less motivation as well, because after a day of work you've got no idea how much motivation it takes to pick up the fiddle and play something proper rather than just a blast and put it back down again. So no, honestly, this is the first and I did a wee sort of live stream gig on Tuesday, which I pre-recorded for that and the Spring Fling is the only 2 things I've done since the lockdown started. I don't know how I've managed to get out, avoid all the Zoom stuff this whole time, but I think it's come back to bite me in the end. I'm back on the fiddle again, but it's good. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to do something like this, because it gets folk, like me, getting the fiddle out again and getting back to a sort of standard that I'm happy with. But no, it's been a good experience.
And it's great for us as well, because you don't normally play for Scottish country dancing.
I'm very much I've got a very solo background. Obviously I play duet with my brother too, but predominantly solo background, especially for competitions. That was all I was sort of aiming forward to throughout my career's only just started really, but my young career was all competition based. I was very, very keen on getting to the next competition and then transitioning from juniors to seniors and trying to sort of hold my own, if you like. And then obviously the aim was to try and get an invite to the Glenfiddich, and I was very fortunate to get an invite. I was absolutely delighted with. But yeah, no, this is it's slightly new to me. I think Jim Stott, like I mentioned, Jim Stott there, he has a few times asked if I fancy playing for dancing, and I said, I don't know. It's not really something that I've done before, but it's really, really good playing for dancing, because not only is it enjoyable, watching folk dance to the music that you're producing, but it's very, very good for being disciplined in timing for tunes. I think it's so important, even for folk playing competitions. To get a proper timing is very, very important. So that's why I think dancing is so important to Scottish music, whether you're playing solo or for dancing. It's very, very important.
As a musician, you get that almost immediate feedback as well for dancers.
Yeah. You can tell. You can tell.
In a competition.
Yeah. You can tell when you're playing for dancing that folk are enjoying it just by how enthusiastic they are when they're doing their birrells or they're going around in their sets or whatever. It is very important for as a musician to try and play with as much enjoyment as possible, because there's nothing worse than going to a dance and the musicians on stage are very, they're very sort of dull and, just not really looking like they're enjoying it. You have to enjoy it. It's the utmost important thing about music is enjoying it. And if you stop enjoying it, well, it's very, very noticeable. So,
loads of comments coming in, George. Patricia and Paul are saying, yes, please keep playing. Don't stop playing. We'll have to keep dancing. Jean Martin saying that Tarvis has quite a reputation. But she does go on to say when she was a student teacher, she'd had her teaching practice at Tarvis Junior Secondary.
Oh, right.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
Tarvis Junior Secondary is well, I don't mean to be rude, but showing age, because that's my dad went to Tarvis Junior Secondary for about a year before he went to Ellen Academy, and well, yeah, my dad's not exactly young, so that's payback for the Tarvis has got a reputation comment.
I'm glad I didn't say that for Jean Martin. And Jim Stott saying that you'd be great to play for dancing as well. And one of the hopes that we get out of this Spring Fling, using likes of yourself, Callum, Susan and Scott earlier, who have played for a bit of Scottish country, but none of you tend to play for it regularly.
No.
It's fantastic to showcase you guys to a Scottish country dance audience as well.
Yeah.
How do you feel the music scene in the Northeast is at the moment? Is it strong?
I would say it's probably quite a fair bit stronger down the central belt, Glasgow, Edinburgh, I would say. Although, I mean, I know a lot of people from up here that are involved in the scene. For me, I remember speaking to somebody not that long ago about opportunities here for musicians, especially in the traditional music scene. And I remember agreeing with the person that to get more opportunities, you would have to move sort of to Glasgow and Edinburgh. It's hard for me not really being that involved in the dance scene, so I can't really comment too much. But I mean, well, the likes of Paul Anderson, he does well enough for himself, I'd say, and he's for here. So it's just about exposure, really. But I would feel about the Northeast is it's a very everyone's familiar. Everyone knows everybody. So if you've been involved in the scene for any length of time, you'll probably know most of the folk that are involved. And I think that's brilliant because it makes it so much more friendly than if, for the likes of me, like I've met you before at gigs before. So if for the likes of me going into if I was to walk into a room full of folk that are involved in the Scottish country dance scene, I might not know that many people, but because it's so familiar up here, I'm bound to know somebody. So I think that's brilliant, and that's very, very important. Is having that sort of friendly atmosphere, and I think the Northeast has really got that, definitely.
Yeah. You fancy giving us another tune?
I can give us another tune. What will we go for? A couple of waltzes. Okay, I'll play a very popular tune, the Ashikan Farewell and Margaret's Waltz. They're both very popular tunes. So. Wait for the camera to go up.
Amazing, George. Thank you so much
you.
for those extra sets.
No problem.
Lots of comments coming in about how grateful folk are for you to get us through this tough
Not a
week.
problem. Not a problem.
Muriel Bowen saying beautiful waltzes from the hero of the evening. There we go. There's a chance for a tune. The Tarvis Hero.
Tarvis Hero. I'll maybe let somebody else write that one.
Anyway, thank you very much, George. I think we've got Frank sorted, so we'll get a
Brilliant.
Canadian barn dance now. Thanks very much
Thank
again.
you very much.
Now, Frank, can we hear you now? No, we can't.
Frank, can you speak again, please? We thought we'd sorted it. I'm so sorry, Frank. It's very difficult to sort remote. Can you still hear us, Frank? Just give us a thumbs up. Yeah. You can hear us. Well, that's a start. Gary, leave me with Frank again. You carry on and do your wee sketch. And folk, just stay with us. Just stay with us and we'll get there in the end, Frank. Give me a phone, Frank, again.
So whilst Angela and Frank try and sort out this wee technical hitch that we're having, I'm going to share a sketch which I did a wee while ago, which is a Scotland the What sketch. Now, Scotland the What were a trio, a comedy trio from Aberdeen. They were two solicitors and a teacher, and they started off going to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and they then became professional after that. So hopefully this works. Hopefully the technology lets me share this with you, and if so, then enjoy all in Doric, which is our language here in the northeast of Scotland, Scotland the What.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Transbuchan Airways welcomes you aboard the breakfast time shuttle from Ellen to Huntly. Flight number TBA, clickety-click, dinky-doos, unlucky for some. This is your captain speaking, Captain Davy Biggles Henderson, and I hope you have a pleasant flight. Our scheduled takeoff time this morning is 0800 hours, so with a bit of luck we should be loaded by about 10:30. On behalf of Transbuchan Airways, I would like to apologise for the delay this morning, but one of our passengers this morning is a coo gone to the mart, Daisy. And we'll see the security lads have been enough of jogging Daisy through the X-ray machine, and what you'll never believe this, but when the X-ray place come back, they saw that a touchy brucellosis has shown up. So we now have a coo in quarantine, in a lavvy, at the hinner end of the plane. So if you want to get into the bathroom, you better get off and get new, because this is your last chance afore the square at Huntly. Now, our cruising speed this morning will be 60 mile an hour. Oh, near the time. And our arrival time at Huntly will be 1125 hours, and that is not, I repeat, not an estimate. It is a complete shot in the dark. We will be flying at a height of 1,701 feet, 6 inches, which is a good 3 feet higher than the Mither Tap in Benahee, so we should clear it easy enough. We'll put it this way, we've never hit it yet. Or just a scrapey files again. Now, before I get any further, I better get the bad news out the way. We're going to get the handicap of our navigator today. As a matter of fact, he's just been on the phone to say that he's heading down to Forfar to get his new guide dog. He's not sure if he's getting an Airedale or a Skye Terrier. So that's the bad news, that's the bad news. Good news is we've got a better chance of getting there without him. Now, Transbuchan Airways is red hot on safety. So first of all, here's for today if we come down in the sea. Now, Now, gan for Ellen to Hundley, we shouldn't have come down in the sea. But just in case we did, there's a bit of drill with your life jacket, and I'll just read it out to you. I can never mind it myself, so I've got written down the back of my wee glovey here, but it is very important, this now. Step 1. Locate aperture in life jacket and insert head. Drag a jacket over your head through the hole in a tap. Step 2. Feed the white cord under each armpit. Pull it out beneath both your oxters. Step 3. Stretch the cord around the abdomen carefully in order to avoid discomfort. Cut it out around your belly and then relax yourself. Now, this next announcement is for those passengers with seatbelts. Would you please both fasten them? On this flight, the passengers with the seatbelts are the occupants of seats A7 and B14, because they were the winners of the lucky draw. Runner-up in the lucky draw was the occupant of seat D9, and his prize is first shotty of the sick bag. As you were. Second shotty, Daisy's been sick already. Now, this aircraft is just about ready to take off, just as soon as we get the frost scraped off the windscreen. Thank God it's July. Now, during takeoff, I would advise you to sit well back in your seats, shut your in, cross your fingers, and hope like hell, because by God, that's what I'm going to be doing. Right now, contact, chocks away, and soak your barley sugars instead. God, that was a herring. What the hell did that Ceilidh come for? God, she should warn you about things like that. Never mind, we're up. First shot of the day. Last Tuesday we had to get jump leads on tilt. Now, for our flight path this morning, I'm going to make a beeline straight for the A96, which we will then follow, turning right along the B922, along in the forestry tracks, follow the Gardy Barn, out at Inverurie, twice round Benahee, and Bob's your uncle. Because right up here is, and as you can see, there's some other interesting sects. Now there's an interesting sect down here. It's Mormont Hill. It's just bristling with NATO defence equipment. God, there's radars and scanners and satellite dishes and other death of the day. For the paraphernalia stuff around it. I'll tell you, just to get playing a wee bit closer so you can hear a better look, alright? But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry at all. They're all fired by computer, and there's nothing can comprehend anything that flies as low or as slow as a Transbachen Airways flight.
Ground control to Transbachen flight 662213. Please state your height and next course of action.
I'm 5 feet 8 inches. If I could put my hands in a parachute, I'd be out that windy like a dose of the salts.
There we go. Hope you enjoyed that. If you understood any of it at all. I suspect that only folk that are from the Northeast or maybe have a bit of knowledge of the Northeast maybe got it all, but hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. The Scotland Depot were just a fantastic trio of comedians and singers, musicians as well, and they just gave so many folk so much entertainment and really have recorded the Doric language into history as well with their sketches. So fantastic stuff. If you get a chance, go on and have a listen to some more Scotland Depot sketches if you can. I think we're Claire's saying no portraits, Gary. No, there'll be portraits in that, anyway. But yeah, that's one of the other sketches as well. I think we're still having a bit of trouble getting Frank hooked up with some sound, but however, I believe that Scott and Susan are getting themselves ready to play a set for us. More heroes coming in to save the day as well. So I don't know if they're quite ready yet, Angela.
So a wee
Yes,
update.
there, yes.
A wee update from me is we're having a wee bit of a struggle still. So I think that Scott and Susan are getting ready to do something for us to help us out at the moment that'll give us another wee dance, because we may not be able to sort this, but we're doing our best still. So Scott and Susan were just shifting their laptop and getting their instruments ready to play something for us. So if you bear with us, Gary.
No problem. Well, a wee story then, while we're waiting for Susan and Scott. 3 ladies in a car accident, and they end up going up to the pearly gates, up to heaven. And they get to the pearly gates, and St. Peter says, "In you come, ladies, but there's only one rule when you come here into heaven: don't step on the ducks. Don't step on the ducks." So the first lady, she's fine. She's jumping in amongst the ducks, and she's okay. Then all of a sudden, whack, dead duck. And St. Peter takes along the ugliest man that you've ever seen. Oh, he's just disgusting. And he tied him up to the woman, and he says, "This is your punishment for eternity." "Oh, okay," says the wifey. So the second lady, she's okay. She's jinking in and out the ducks. She manages a wee Highland fling here and a wee flora over there, and then all of a sudden, dead duck. So St. Peter takes along another ugly manny. Bowfin. Ties him up to the wifey. "This is your punishment for eternity." "Oh, okay." So the third lady, she's okay. She's fine. She's managing to jump in between and getting on fine. There's a wee flying Scots manure here, and then a wee Brazer Bridalbin over here, and then all of a sudden, St. Peter comes along with the most handsome, the handsomest bloke you've ever seen. Just tanned from head to toe, slick back hair, 6-pack, nice beard, just a bit like myself. And he ties the guy up to the woman. This is just wonderful," she says. Oh, I don't know what I've done to deserve this," she says. And the guy says, "I don't know about you. I stepped in a duck." Right, I see in the top of my screen that Scott and Susan are here to save the day and to save me having to inflict another joke on folk. So, Scott and Susan, over to you to let us know what you're going to play.
Hello again. Hopefully this will work okay, playing live. Not sure what our Wi-Fi is like, but we'll see how it goes. So I think we're just going to do a Strip the Willow. So we've got, I can't even think of the names of the tunes at the moment. The first one I don't know the name of. I think the second one is The Unknown Motive. The third one is Hartigan's Fancy. And then Willie Walsh's Jig, I think, is the last one. Maybe not in that order, but we'll give it a go. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Scott and Susan.
No problem, Gary.
Aberdeen Heroes, I think there's another tune.
Yeah.
Fling Heroes, and we can just encompass that into one tune. Thank you very much for stepping in and giving us a strip roll. Thank you very much.
No problem at all. Cheers.
Right, I see. I think we're maybe got Frank now on a different device. He's now on his phone. So I think we're going to try bringing him in now.
Aren't we lucky? Can you hear me? Yes! Sorry, I'm an hour late, Gary.
The traffic in Aberdeen.
Traffic, yeah, it's awful out here at King's Wells. Anyway, are we up and running?
We're up and going, yes. So
right.
We're kind of a bit overrun now with some extra spots.
I'll speed up my tempos a bit.
Okay, so we get the Canadian barn dance from you.
Right, okay.
Thank you, Frank. Yes, the sound wasn't great to start with, but it came okay. So we're crossing our fingers that we can get another set from you, Frank, if that's okay.
Yes, okay, no problem.
So we've had Scott and Susan did the strip the willow, so we'll finish off with your musician's choice, if that's okay.
Okay.
Which is a waltz, which is suitable for a Viennese swing.
That's right. Yes, it's called Under Paris Skies. Okay.
Over to you, Frank. Thank you very much.
you, Gary.
Thank you, Frank. And I'm so glad that we managed to get the technology working eventually.
Delighted. I was really panicking. I feel my accordion's welded to my chest now.
Well, everybody's so glad that we're able to hear you, and you know you're known throughout the Scottish country dancing scene. Unflappable, I think, is.
I was certainly flapping away tonight, I can tell you.
Certainly tested, absolutely. But the comments coming through on the chat are just showing how appreciative folk have been of you being able to hear you in the end. So thank you very much, Frank. Great to hear from you. I didn't even get on to speak about how much you've played for the royal family up in Balmoral, but maybe we'll do that next time.
We hear there's enough name dropping without that, Gary. Anyway, I was delighted to be able to join you eventually. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Frank. Thank you. Right, thank you very much, folks. And that's the end of this section of the Ceilidh, and indeed the end of the Ceilidh. And I'm going to hand over to Ellie MacDonald, who's one of the Spring Fling Committee, to finish off the evening with a vote of thanks. Over to you, Ellie.
Thank you very much, Gary. As Gary said, our night unfortunately is very nearly over, and I've been asked on behalf of the committee to thank all of those who have helped us pull this off. There are a lot of people to whom we owe our thanks, so please do bear with me. A virtual event requires just as many hands as an in-person one. First and foremost, I need to say an absolutely massive thank you to Angela Young, without whom we could not have run this event. Angela has spent months patiently guiding our planning for the, sorry, I've just lost my notes. Angela has spent months patiently guiding our planning for the virtual Spring Fling, telling us what is and isn't feasible. She has arranged for our step dance teachers and edited the videos for that class. And as you've all seen, she has also been our technical wizard, keeping us running smoothly all day. And on top of that, she even found the energy and time to teach our excellent beginner intermediate class this afternoon. Speaking of teaching our classes, a massive thank you as well to Louise Masika, who taught the advanced class. And of course, we could not have had our country dance classes without Graham and Joshua, who provided the music for them, and in Graham's case, got roped into assisting with the demonstration. We also had our pre-recorded step classes, and for that, I have to thank our 4 teachers. So that's Laura Brown, Emma Alsop, Diana Hasty, and Duncan Brown. Thank you as well to Gary Cool for running our extremely fun dance devising workshop this afternoon, and to all of those who acted as facilitators for the breakout rooms. That's Lynn, Christine, Gail, Claire, Louise, Joanna, Joshua, and Malin. And I'm sure you'll agree that tonight's Ceilidh has been utterly fantastic, and for that we must thank our musicians, Susan and Scott Gordon, Callum Cruikshank, George Davidson, and Frank Thompson. And a special thank you to George, Susan, and Scott for their last-minute additional sets. We really did put you on the spot there. And as well to our hosts, Joshua Masika, Georgina Rolfe, Claire Gritchuk, and Gary Cool. And finally, the thanks to the committee goes to those who I've not yet named and who have provided us with support for the event. In particular, the Aberdeen branch for supporting us, providing the use of their Zoom account and all the other little things they've been called on to do. Joanna and Malin from the Youth Services Committee for their assistance, and Kat from RSCDS HQ for her lovely design work. And last but absolutely not least, thank you so much to all of you who've taken part today. We are so glad to have had so many of you on the various sessions, and we really do hope that we'll see you in Aberdeen sometime in the future. So thank you, everyone.
Hi. Thank you, Ali. I would just like to join you in your thank yous for the teachers, musicians, and hosts for tonight. They offered such a, not tonight, for today, they offered such a variety of music and dance styles. That was lovely. Thank you very much. So on behalf of the RSCDS and on behalf of the Youth Services Committee, I would really like to thank you, to say a big thank you to you too, Aberdeen Spring Fling Committee and RSTDS Aberdeen. You kindly offered to do the Spring Fling in a virtual form in autumn, and then it was a kind of process towards what would be able and what would not be able to offer. And you came up with a solution that I really loved. You invited us into your homes, you invited us to Aberdeen and surroundings, and it actually was like a mini holiday, a mini dance holiday that you gave to us. Thank you for all the effort that you did, and for the great ideas you had and the patience you showed, and everything. Also, thank you to all the dancers who were probably surprised to also invite us to their homes today with the dance devising session and the chats. Thanks for being so open and just making it happen too. I would, of course, also like to thank the RSTDS office, especially Claire and Kat, for the beautiful artwork, for example, and Angela, with support from Graham, for the things that you made work today. It's not just such a lot of work that you put into preparing this, but it's also amazing to see how you kind of managed to keep everything in mind successfully throughout the day. So, last things last, Auld Lang Syne. We're handing over back to Scott and Susan for the Auld Lang Syne and polka.